Alrighty, Doc here from North America. It's the middle of the week. We do have a number coming in on Friday. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. It could be definitely a higher. It could be more of a major number than thought before. So, but we are now in the middle of the week. Market is stock market goes up and down. You can see the what do we have there? There's the dollar index. You see the dollar index, it's fighting to go up, but still in a daily sell here for a bunch, going on a second week full now. And then when we go and look at the weekly, you can see the weekly is trying to drop underneath right there. You're seeing that pressure from yesterday. And, there's a real challenge for itself at this point. Just a real challenge. It's just not able to, it comes down to that interest rate factor, and inflation factor, and they won't go away, and they can't go away because people are paying for it. They're costing them a lot of money to live before this administration, and it's confusing because the administration tries to tell us that we're not seeing it right, but that's the problem we have here. But anyway, let's get rolling along there. There's the dollar index, and then you have the real estate situation in China. Everybody thought for a long period of time that China would be the powerhouse. It could compete with America, and it could, lead us out of problems. Matter of fact, no more than 6 months ago, they were so excited. They thought, oh my goodness, China is going to, try to stimulate its economy. It can get the world going. But they just don't understand it. China is basically like a colony of America. It's not an independent country away from America. It depends on America spending money there. And usually, if you're going to grow, you need somebody to spend money. And we're waiting for China to come spend money. They don't have the money to spend. And so, we're stuck in that situation. And this morning, there was talk of the condominium apartments that are in China are going to be up for sale for another 5 years before they can sell them, and things like that. It's like they've had their major corporations that own all that real estate in China have gone bankrupt, and they're under receivership and things like that. It just keeps on going where we can't get going because we're not growing. The only thing we grow right now in the United States is government jobs, and private sector jobs are disappearing, and government jobs are growing, and that made us. We're borrowing money left and right. We've borrowed $6 trillion over the last 3 years with Mr. Biden. So that generates inflation, and it just keeps on going. And so you look at the dollar index, you see how the dollar index is trying to. The currency pairs are trying to gain against the dollar. But unfortunately, with lower interest rates, or let's say higher interest rates now, without lower interest rates, no one wants to leave the dollar position. So we're constantly stuck in this same spot over and over. And I guess, in many ways, we could go and look at, let's look at the Asian markets. And then we'll go into the currency itself. But there's the Nikkei, and the Nikkei's just backing off a little bit. It's trading at all-time high 3 days ago. You see now a little pressure on it, and then you go over to the the Kospi right there out of South Korea. They rallied, hoping. China said that they were going to stimulate. But they don't really have the money to stimulate. They only threw out, I guess, like $130 million. Not $130 billion, $130 million. It was like, it's like, that's not, you need to spend like $2 or $3 trillion. They just don't have the money to do it. And you know that something's wrong is when they have $1 trillion sitting in America and they refuse to take it and stimulate their economy with it. It means they don't trust their own economy. That's probably the worst part about it all. They talk about, we're not buying bonds anymore in America, but we see them doing it. Every time they say they're not, they go and buy those bonds in another country. They go and buy American bonds from another country. In other words, they go like the way they did in Belgium and so forth. They go there and they buy, $200 or $300 worth of bonds, and then finally people realize that they're buying American bonds somewhere else when they claim they're not going to buy them. So that's the problem there. The South Korean currency and index itself really got beat up for a while, and then when China said they were going to stimulate, you can see it right there. It started to climb, started showing life in it like that. And then we go over and look at the Hang Seng, and Hang Seng has barely gotten up to the December numbers, basically right there. They rallied, but they weren't able to rally, not with a lot of strength in there. And you can see, 4 weeks in the buy, it was pretty cool. There's down in here in this bottom, they dug in their heels and they, got going a little bit, but not enough to help the world grow. And that's really the problem there. Let's see, where's the other, that's the Hang Seng. And where's the Shanghai? There's a Shanghai around here somewhere. Oh, that's the Hong Kong right there. So that's the okay, so that's the Shanghai right there, the HSI. So it barely got going. It didn't even take out the December highs. And Hong Kong, let's see how Hong Kong's doing. It's kind of like a good example of the action there. Hong Kong definitely did not even take out the January highs. They started the bounce. They were hoping that this meant that China would join in, try to get things growing, but we just don't see it. And this morning it was constant talk of the real estate market there just still collapsing, and we're stuck with the American dollar and the American economy as the leader of the world. And when we have a president that is making things kind of confusing at the same time, it does make it a challenge, It really does. And that's pretty much the problem we have there. And let's jump over to let's go over to, from the dollar index, let's go over to the euro dollar pairs trade itself. Is that it right there? There it is right there. And there's the dollar. And you can see it's pushing into the sell again. And it's been in the weekly sell. We were flirting with a weekly buy, and now it's pushing back down below the zero line right there. Oh, you can't see that. Let's go over and look at it. Oh, let me get the chat line up, too. I haven't even turned on the chat line, and I've been yakking away for 8 minutes now. It's just so paralyzing when it comes to the world markets. They just cannot get their game together, And and you can see, and probably the best description. Hey, Robin, more than that is look at Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin before we even go jumping off to the euro. Let's go back to right there. There's the Bitcoin. And you can see the Bitcoin is going after 60,000. That's that uncertainty thing. When you really look at that, and then you go and look at, say, the dollar index. They're both marching to a great extent in the same direction. They've been marching up from that low in December. And then Bitcoin's doing the same thing. And obviously, the indices that we've just pointed out are just not able to get their leg going. And there's Bitcoin, going after 60,000. And we've been in a weekly buy there for like 5 weeks. It's like since January, last week of January, right back in here. Since that low, didn't mean to do that. Well, that low in the 24th, at 40 some odd thousand. It's one heck of a move, from 40,000 to 60,000 in a matter of 2 months. You're talking about a 33% move. Fantastic move. And when we go and look at the dollar index, right there, it's gone from basically 102.5, or at least 103, you could say. It went up to 105. So it's a challenge. The world economy is going nowhere. Stock markets are at their all-time high or on the edge of their all-time high because there's nowhere else to go. In other words, they don't know where to put money. Their money managers are underperforming their positions. They're not making as much as what they call it, the dartboard, where you take like the game in the pubs and the bars. You throw a dart into a board where it's a circle and center target, and and basically that outperforms the money managers now all the time. Just random action outperforms. They're afraid to commit. They've not been able to commit for years now. So they're underperforming. All right. So from there, where do we go from there? Let's go over to the euro. Let's go back to the euro. That's all. Let's go back over to the euro. Let's see. There it is. Oh no, right there. Yeah, you can see that right there. I'm a little surprised. I thought we were going to start to get some strength. We were over the zero line, but it's kind of really rolled. Let's just take a look at the intraday. There's the intraday of, what is that? That's the intraday of the S&P 500. Let's take a look at the intraday of the euro. And there it is right there. It went into the sell. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It went into the sell right here, and it's still rolling down. We're starting to try to turn. Trying is the key word there. There was the last buy. No. There's the last buy right there. Right there. That was another nice win too. And then that one, there's your loss. 2 out of 3. 3 out of 4. 4 out of 5. Yep, 4 out of 5. 5 out of 6. Break even there. 6 out of 7. Maybe. 7 out of 8. And there's the intraday. And as I always like to remind traders, if you have a strategy, it should work on the intraday. The same strategy should work on the daily, and the same strategy should work on the weekly. Hey, NC, you consistently deliver tremendous value, and I truly appreciate it. Wow, thank you. The knowledge and wisdom oh, good. Do I have to send you a check now or what? Yeah, it's my brother-in-law. No, NC is my brother-in-law. Your daily doses of expert are truly inspiring. Well, I'm really glad. I'm really glad. It's Robin and I together have almost 100 years of experience. So we've been involved in the markets a very, very long time, and it's very few things we've not seen. And the good thing is that if we don't know it, we know where to find it. That's the real key. Knowing when you don't know. That's the most important thing of all, is knowing when you don't know. Bitcoin only. Yeah, look at that thing go, huh? Is it 60,000 or 59,000 was the all-time high? I can't wait to get my my J4X back up and running, because I want to see that. That's a really good tool to be able to look back and see what they've done. Yeah, Bitcoin and the dollar are showing firmness, and it was really funny. I saw the weakness again in gold. Matter of fact, let's just show you gold, because the cryptos are basically taking up the push on that. There's gold down around 2038, traded down to 34, and then went back into the buy right here for that move. Went into the sell right here for that move. There's a 2 for 2. And let me get the daily up there. There it is. So Yeah, so right there, there's gold, and you can see gold's trying to press down today a little bit. It's got a green and a red, and you know it's it's just pressing south. Right there. It's just, you can see it's trying to drive up, but with the, and it's not that bad off. I mean, look at it. Look at that day right there where we're stuck in that range actually between it. 68,000. Is that what it was? It was 69, like 68,900 and something, right? Is that what it was? So 70,000 is basically what they're shooting for, I guess. I've heard some people say that if it gets past like 61,000 or 60,000, they think it's going to 100,000. Oh my goodness, someone's really pulling someone's tail. Yeah, I could see that. I heard Jim Oreo. He's an old trader, like Robin and I from Chicago, and he was saying today that there's a lot of uncertainty for a while now about not just the dollar but all currencies, and so people are reaching for the they're reaching for the cryptos. They figure that it's a good spot to park themselves. Yep. Yep. That's the answer there. Okay, now, all right. So where are we leaving off? What it really comes down to is that the crypto is moving in the plus very strongly, and we have the average currency pair trades. You gotta think of them as almost like a, I want to say like an independent other. I think that's the only way I can describe it in my head. An independent other. Okay, so in other words, it's there's cryptos that can act like a currency, and so what we have is we have that, and then you see the cryptos taking off, and then you start to see the metals like, oh, look at this too. I was really surprised about this. I mean, silver rolled over pretty fast. It was really surprising. You can see it's starting to do a downslope from the high 23s, and we're now going to the mid 22s. So it just doesn't let go. You know, you can see that, and the weekly you can see it on there is it's minus. See it right here. Silver is minus 0.01. It's starting to flirt with the weekly sell. Whereas what's really odd out of all this metal situation is look at gold. Gold has been in the weekly sell, from up here in the 2080 area, 2070 area, and it's bounced around. It's going back up to it, going down, made a lower low. Now it seems to be trying to make a lower high. We'll see. And if this goes into a sell and it goes down and challenges the 2000 again, I think that they don't want to really sell gold. I think that many central banks want to own gold, and they're not very comfortable. And here we have the crypto screaming in our face right now, just screaming, not letting go. It's a real. We are really in a very odd situation right now, just a very odd situation. Then this morning, you can see what they did with the U.S. stock market. Let's see, where's it at? Let's put it up there. So, what did I want to point out again? I got lost there. Oh, yeah, the gold. I have the gold up there. Yep. And so, um, you know, I it'd be hard to believe that we're going to break the 2000 area. But, it just doesn't seem to want to let go. They just don't want to let go. That is really the problem, is that the metals complex, you can see all the others falling down. And matter of fact, we should look at copper. Copper is like China's gold, There it is right there. Pushing into that sell again. That needs to be moved over one like that. There it is. There's the buy. We're in the weekly buy and we're flirting. We're just still on top. 0.0034. We're hanging in there on the weekly. Just hanging in there. When we tighten this up, you can see that it couldn't get through the $4 area, and that's that weakness in China. This is, copper in China is like gold in the West. As much as the Chinese also are big buyers of gold, but they really buy a lot of copper, and it's very, matter of fact, there's been what is it? They've tested copper and found it to be lead sometimes, just painted copper. Can you imagine a $4 a pound product is being what do you call that when they falsify it? They're being counterfeited. They're counterfeiting copper over there. Talk about something unique. Counterfeiting copper, not gold, not silver, but copper. It just shows you how important it is over there. All right, where do we go from here? Let's jump over to the Great British Pound, the GBP. Let's see what it's doing right there. Oh, look at that. They're still in a buy. This is the what is that? That's gold. Gold went into the buy right there, and it's still in the buy all the way to here. It almost got into the sell right there, but failed at it because it's at the zero line, as you can see right there. The blue is at zero, so it needed to be minus to get into the sell. The other two were. The white was 0.4, minus 0.4. The green was minus 0.8, and then the blue was just zeros. So even if you did try to take the sell, it just pushed you right back into the buy. And so it's gone from the 2034 area to 39 area. And again, that is that magic that's going on around the planet. Everybody is buying gold, stockpiling it. So you can see this. We're in a weekly sell, as we pointed out before. We're in a weekly sell. Let's just put it up there one more time right there. And just on the edge constantly. But really, like the currencies, they're not really going anywhere. The metals just don't seem to be able to get any traction, They just can't get going. All right, there we go to the British pound right there. You can see British pound went into the sell. Let's see where to go into the sell. Do this. Use this as it. Where to go into the sell? Right there? Yeah, I guess that's it. So it went into the sell right there, off of that. Went into the sell there, and it bounced back up, no doubt about it. And the stop would have protected you. And if you were, using derivatives, then you didn't have to worry about it at all. And sure enough, it's still in the sell from that point, right here. Hasn't gone into a buy yet. It's still in the sell. Put that like right there. And choppy. Choppy, choppy, choppy. All right, now from there, we march over into the daily and the weekly. Let's take a look at that. Right there. Okay, so there's a sell. It's pushing in. It wasn't a buy from here. We're starting to get into the daily buy now. And just like, the euro, it's been in a weekly sell. What's today? Wednesday, right? So I wasn't I think at one point on Monday, it was actually touching the weekly buy. I think it was. It was just about touching it, and then it rolled over. And then obviously, since we're watching these cryptos show so much life in them, it just tells us how much that the markets have no trust in the other forms of currency or equity. The currencies themselves. In many ways that makes it a much better trading tool too. You want the volatility, you want the action. You're looking for, and it does have consistency. You see a lot of solid consistency, especially when you go look at the daily and the weekly. It went into a sell and it played its way down, and then the daily joined in right here after going into the sell right there. And you have your ups and downs, with the dailies, and they show the short-term strength, and then the longer-term weakness has been from the 127.5 area, something like that, and we've gotten down as low as just a couple of days later we got down to, what was that, 25. So it was a big drop, a couple of big handles. All right, what's next here? Let's go over to the Swiss. The Swiss are doing the bold thing. I keep on giving them compliments, and that is that they're fighting the inflation. Yeah, right there. You can see it's. Did it go into the sell? I guess it's in the sell. Went into the buy here. Went back into the sell there. Let's grab this one. So it went into the buy right there. Let's grab that sell. Then it went right back into the sell right there. And now it's trying to go back into the buy right here again. It's just not letting go. And so we know that when the Swiss is going up, it's losing against the dollar. And so there it is right there. You can see it's been in that weekly buy since the Central Bank of Switzerland has started fighting inflation. Good for them. Well, our central bank is fighting it, but unfortunately our government is not. Unfortunately not. All right. So from there, where do we go from there? Let's go over to the yen. As we saw, the Nikkei backing off a little bit, nothing major. We're in the daily buy from here. And still in the daily buy. We've been in the weekly buy from a while back, There it is right there. Mid-January. Basically mid-January from this area in here, the 146 area. And we've climbed all the way up to 150. What's that? The high there is 150. 150.80. Is that what that is? 150.88. And so that's the, how we've seen it. We've already looked at the Nikkei. The Nikkei is at all-time highs. You have to really say that obviously it's very clear. It's very obvious. It's very specific. You can't miss it. The fact that inflation is exploding in Japan and the stock market is going up because, stocks are the best product to fight inflation. Stocks and gold. And so, we know that they have plenty of gold. And so, when you can't buy all that gold, you try to buy stocks. And we've known that the Bank of Japan has owned, like the top 50 stocks, they own like 65-70% of them. The central bank is deeply invested in the stock market, and it's been that way for over a decade now. Over a decade. And that's that is unique. So, there's a perfect example. Like us, we're higher. We're 3 times higher in inflation right now, and obviously we're up near all-time highs in the stock markets here in the States, and that's a reason why inflation does that. All right. From there, and let's just take a look at the yen, how the intraday trading is going with that. Was it yesterday? It was 10 for 10, or 11 for 11, something like that. All right, let's put some lines in there and see how it is just with the picture that we have. So it goes into the buy here. Well, you can see right there. Let's move this over just a little bit. Nothing major. So it went into the sell right up in here. Should make that white or something like that for the time being. There we are. So it went into the sell there. It went down. Went into the buy right there. So let's put that in there. Went into the buy there. Went back in, and obviously it gained. Then it went into the sell right there. Went down just a little, but there's 3 for 3. Then we went into the buy there. Went up a little bit again. 4 for 4. Nothing major on a couple of those trades. And then this one's the sell again right there. And we went down, made a little money, nothing major there. And then all again comes down to how much capital you have and what you're doing and what's your thought. Let's see, buys. Where do I put the buy? Oh, wait a minute. It's the other way around. This should be, let's see, this is the buys. Buys are down here. So we move that right there. That's good. And we'll put that in there like that. And then up top will be the sells. So go into the sell right there. And it goes down a little bit, nothing major. And then it goes into the buy here, and it goes up. Good move there. Goes into the sell right there. Yeah, right there. And there's a loss. Okay. Then you go back. And I guess when you really end up getting bit like that, you can see that it gives you a nice big win and makes like 3 times more than what you lost. Because the buy was like right. Where's the buy at? 1 over. No, it's not. What is that? -0? Yeah, so it's still, that's where the buy was right there. So you go into the sell right here, and it goes into the buy right there, and it makes all of that and more back. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we were 7 out of 8. That's not too bad. I'll tell you that current. It's one that we've noticed over the years. It's really good too. Is the British pound against the yen? That thing can be just incredibly dynamic. I mean, very accurate. It almost basically leads the dollar yen pairs trade, really. The president is down at the border today, and they're saying, please don't come here, just close the border. Close the border. That's all they want, is to close the border. All right, what's next here? From there we go over to the, we were talking about it yesterday, the great experiment, the Turkish lira, Euro-Turkish lira pairs trade. Let's check that out. Right there. There it is right there. Seems to be making new all-time highs and closing at all-time highs. And now we're finally flirting with that buy. Remember yesterday, that made me a little bit nervous the way we're seeing the action here. This is like the way it normally works. But in this product for almost a decade now, it didn't care about the all-time highs. In other words, it just busted through them, and that was it. And it was very accurate. But notice here we had 4 days in a sell, and we're playing with the daily buy today. And it was going up at the same time. And obviously you couldn't take the short. You could only be neutral because why, traders? Because we're in a weekly buy for like 27 weeks. So, you just have to stand it aside. But something's starting to look a little different in the action from the way the math is working. I'm concerned that it might go find 37. I'm not sure why, but it just seems to want to, I don't know, it's just got some look to it like money is trying to slide in. And I don't know what they can do about it. And I was talking about it yesterday where China had put in about $113 million because of the earthquake of last year. It's 12 months now, and the government can't seem to get that really resolved. And China is now talking about putting in a couple hundred more million to help them out. And it's something's brewing over there. There's a problem. There's a real problem when you see us go into a daily sell and it goes up. You see, it was 1 day spike or 2 day spike. It went into the sell here. You see, it went into the sell right there. And the next day they gap it up and then drive it down again. And then from there, it parks itself up here for the last couple of days, and now we're fighting with a buy, and we've been in the weekly buy since all the way back to mid-September down here in the 28s. So I'm a little concerned that they may do something to this in the bad way. And we don't really want that. We would be very happy to see the Euro Turkish lira finally top out, go sideways for another couple of years and not have these 800 point moves. That's since September. The thing has had, what's that, from basically 28 to almost 34, a 600 point move. The population there is really getting punished from the inflation. And then obviously the government can't even take care of the earthquake situation. So there's a lot of problems there. Lots of problems. All right. From there, we'll go over to the brick. There's another one that seems to be having problems. Now, we see here it dropped yesterday, and gold should have gone up. And instead, let me just go back to gold here. Gold was up yesterday. There's a lot of problems down there. Things are really going in opposite directions now. They've been for years moving in like an organized way, a consistency where you knew that, because this happened to that, it did it. And now we're getting to a point now where it's just not happening anymore. It's starting to, there's a lot more noise, a lot more problems. The president there has got the country tangled up. We kind of think the currency should be in the 14s, just related to gold, and instead it's trading in the 19s. That's like a 33% haircut. That's expensive. That's a very expensive situation. Oh, what do we got here? Chaz says, I'm a relatively new trader and was wondering if you offer any training or guidance for those just starting out. Sure. Yeah, Robin will, yes, we'll do something. I'd love to learn from your experience and gain more confidence in my trading skills. Yeah, here, we'll show you. We can show you how to get a hold of them. There it is right there. There it is right there. You see the phone number, and that's the website, Chicago Quant Technologies. And, yeah, there's no problem there. And you can talk with us here, talk to us there. You can talk to us in every direction and see if we can help you out, No problem at all. Because it basically, what it really comes down to when you're trading, you need trading tools. And that's why we designed that. Once we get the J4X back up again, you'll see the system that we designed for J4X. And then obviously, there's more in-depth ways of following the markets, and we're working on that. That's why we have the beta program right here. We'll go to the dollar index again. This is the beta platform. We're trying to get this up and running. It's doing a pretty good job, but we still need to tighten it up way more. It's only, let's say, it's pretty accurate. It's definitely more accurate than almost anything else you're going to find, but we need to tighten it more so it challenges our top product. So, sure. Yeah, just head over to that and, we'll help you out right there. All right, where were we at? Oh, yeah, South African Rand. Yeah. It's the number one, what do you call it? The number one brick in the world now. And, it outperforms, the ruble and outperforms the Chinese yuan and the Brazilian real. And I guess it's at parity almost. I think it's just a little bit stronger than the Indian rupee. I mean, now the Indian rupee is the second most powerful brick currency in the world, and we've talked about like building an index for it and so forth. We find that it would be a very fascinating index. It'd be another interesting alternative, just the way the dollar index is, or slash gold is, or slash cryptos are, or slash the bricks would be interesting to actually have a brick index that you could pairs trade against the dollar index. Ooh, T. From there, we let's see. We were looking at the South African rand, and we looked at silver and gold. Let's look at platinum. And there's the platinum. You can see the pressure on that. Again, they're going to have to drive gold down to. I mean, I can't even imagine that this platinum challenging 800. I mean, they'd have to drive gold down to like 14 or 15, as far as I'm concerned, where I wouldn't feel comfortable shorting it, because if it goes, hinky, as they would say on the trading floors, you would be really, really sad. Oh, no problem, NC. No problem at all. To watch, you see the physical platinum trading higher than gold, but you go to the exchange floor to trade it, and it's over 60% lower, 62% lower than gold. It's like, that's a collision waiting to happen. That is really a collision waiting to happen. Yeah. All right. So from the metals complex, we'll go over to the energy. Let's see what the energies are doing here today. There's crude oil. It's lifting up again. It went into the buy yesterday. Let's take a look at Brent. Show you Brent down in here. There's Brent. Brent lifting up also. You can see it right there. And you can see the weekly, showing strength there. We're bouncing around that 84 area, up and down, basically between the high 80, I guess you could say the mid 81 area to the 84 area. It's been bouncing around. And that big dip about a month back, at the end of January, going into that, was kind of a surprise the way they pounced on it. I don't know what they had done, if they had released more oil from the reserves or what, but it was a surprise. Didn't last long, that's for sure. And so there is crude, and then let's go check out natural gas. There's natural gas. April coming up. Actually, it's flirting with the buy now as we speak. Been in a weekly sell since. Where's the line at? There it is. It's been in a sell since the $2 area drove itself down to, was it 63, $1.63, and now it's lifted back up and it's in the 80s, the $1.80, 84 area, and it's trying to get into the buy today, but needs to get a little bit stronger there. And then let's just save that. Save workspace. Then look at that too. That was interesting. Went into the daily sell up here in like the $2.50 or $2.75 area, 80 cent area, something like that. $2. What's that? $2.20. That's it. And drove itself all the way down to 1.6. Then from there, let's see. That's natural gas. Oh, well, let's go over to the gas company in Spain, a natural gas provider, trading organization. We follow that. Put that up on. You can see it's broken the $22 area. Fallen from. We went into the weekly sell back in here in the $27 area, and now we're trading today at 20. Is that 21 and change? There's right there, 21. Almost got to 21.6. It's been a really interesting slide. Yeah. So you can see this is a third day in a sell. It's pressing down. It's interesting there. It's very interesting. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from there? Let's go over to. Let's see. I guess that's it. That's the energies. So from the energies, why don't we go look at the rest of the world and their stock indices, and if anybody wants to see something, let us know, and we'll go from there. All right, so there is the S&P 500. And you can see it's trying to roll over a little bit. Actually, our main platform is in a sell for 2 full days now. And this is in a sell. That's the 27th. So it's 2 days in a sell. And our weekly is still trying to break down, and we still haven't done that on the main platform. Let's just show you the main platform. Right there, you can see that. This is going on a third day on our main platform. Then from there, we'll go over and look at the NASDAQ 100, or the Tech 100. Right there. Same thing. It's pressing down. And the weekly is trying to get into a weekly sell, but it's been in a daily sell for 3 days. And we go over to the beta platform that we're working on right now. And let's put that in there like so, right there. And it's trying to get into the sell, but has not. Still has not. It's still in the weekly buy too, just like the main platform. Then we go to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's pressed into the sell yesterday. And you can see it's in the sell again today. So it's 2 days in the sell. And this is yesterday's algorithm. That's what we're trying to get tightened up, where it reflects today's algorithm on it. And it's not, and that's why it says the 27th there. And then you can see the weekly is the same way. It's a day behind. And so it could be even more pressure on it. And then when we go over to it on our main platform, there we are. And let's put it up on the screen. It's still in the weekly buy, but a daily sell for 2 days there. From there, let's go back over to the beta. And we'll take a look at the Russell 2000, which went up into the 2000 area. People were really surprised, thought that this meant that it was diversifying. We were seeing there was more diversification in the stock market here in the States. There it is right there. You can see it's in a buy for a couple of days now, 3 days. It's in a weekly buy for 5 weeks. And you can see here, there's your buy and so forth, the 4 days. And this is, again, the 27th on the algorithm, but there's the 28th, that's today, right there. So there's the 28th. So, we need to get that tightened up. We're working on the code now. But you can see the strength was in it, and it's starting to drop down a little bit, but still in the buy. Then we go over and we look at the DAX. I understand the DAX has been on a roar, just a roar, taking off. Let's see what we see here. Here it is right there. There's the DAX. You see that? It's beautifully in a buy for 8 days now, going on 9. Weekly buy for 5 full weeks. DAX is not letting go. They're really going after it. They're buying it. There's the CAC 40. You can see a little pressure here today. But same thing as the DAX. It's just been ripping. It's going from the 7,600 area almost up to 8,000. And same thing with the weekly, five weeks in a buy. Then we look at the FTSE right there. And the FTSE is breaking down. You can see our fast algorithm on the weekly breaking down through the zero line. And you can see here, the daily has been kind of, it went into the sell off of, 6 days back. Went into the sell off of this thing here. Then climbed for 2 days. Then started dropping again and still in the sell. Went into the buy on that green there and has failed again. And now it's back into the sell now for 2 days. So we're seeing some, and a lot of times the FTSE has a habit of following the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is kind of interesting. And some, usually the product itself, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it can be a lagging indicator. In other words, it can lead the market, and so it's trying to lead the market down. And the bigger question is, will it do it? Will it survive? And so, we're watching to see if we start to get more indications. Right now we have Nasdaq or Tech 100 and a S&P 500 in daily sells, but weekly buys. We're in a weekly buy in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, just like the FTSE is. Let's just show it to you one more time. Like the FTSE is, but it's getting very close. It's feeling the pressure. And then when we go over and look at it again, we'll look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average one more time. It's showing that weakness there. And the weekly is holding up much stronger than the FTSE, that is. And so we're watching it. We understand it. But, with the interest rate situation going on, the election stuff going on, these markets don't have the energy to really get going. They're just drifting with the inflation, taking the inflation and riding it. And, between the real estate markets and the global, leadership, global stock leadership and currency, you could say the global forex and stock leadership are having problems. They really are just stumbling. And I think that's the best way to rationalize it. And then, we're seeing cryptos benefit from it. They're lagging cryptos. Crypto. There we are. They lag crypto. So global stock and forex lag crypto at this point, and that's, it doesn't have that much direction. All right, traders, if there's no questions, we'll get out of here. I'll give you a few seconds there. And we've just put our title up there, too. Global Stock Forex Lag Cryptos, because that's really what's going on. All this real estate problems and all this other stuff that's going on really has them all shook up. They really are shook up, and it just makes it harder. Money managers are underperforming, and it just goes on and on and on. And we try to give you the best information you can get. That's what it really comes down to. So, all right, then, if nothing else, we're going to get out of here. This is Doc from North America. We'll catch you all tomorrow. Same time, same channel. It'll be Thursday, a day before the end of the week. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. To all our trading friends, later, webinar friends, we'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Ta-ta for now.